How's everything going today, Rob Love?
Oh man, it's another day in the lab, getting this work done.
Yeah, you're right.
Consistent, staying productive.
Yeah, you're right. Well, let me ask you something, man. What you think about this? Have African Americans progressed since slavery?
I would say that first 100 years, yeah, we did. The first 100 years, I would say from 1866 to 1966.
Okay.
It was prospering.
Okay.
But as soon as we fell for the okie doke in the civil rights movement, we ain't did shit since then. And we ain't been shit since then. So yeah, that's that. We fell for the okie doke with that bullshit.
So you saying everything that Martin did in terms of getting us in schools with these people, getting us the opportunity to vote with these people, even getting black folks jobs, with some of these corporations, ain't none of that helped?
Nah, none of that helped because before integration, we owned our shit.
Right.
We stopped owning our shit to go be an employee for somebody else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
Let's look at these black cities that they destroyed, like Black Wall Street, Greenwood, Greenwood, Tulsa, Oklahoma. The name of the city was called Greenwood. That's subliminal for money, because money comes from trees.
Yeah, you're right.
So they were saying they was money.
That's right.
They had everything. They didn't have to go to the white man for a goddamn thing.
That's right.
So when we create our own economy, we stop their economy. You understand?
Gotcha. So
you can't have two separate economies in one country. And our dollars were circulating. You know what I'm saying? They had theaters, they had airplanes, they had doctors, lawyers, they had everything. And that wasn't just in Tulsa. Tulsa just got the most notoriety from it. Why is it that in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921, they destroyed that city? And don't you know, 2 years later in 1923, you had Rosewood in Florida, and they did the same goddamn thing?
So they was out to attack all prosperous black cities.
We can't have it. Because once we can live without them and show them that we don't need them, then what the hell they gonna do? You understand? Okay, understand something. The word nigger, okay, didn't mean black. The word nigger meant a degenerate, somebody who could not do for self. So all immigrants, when they first came to these shores, they were niggers. The Jews started off as niggers. The Irish started off as niggers. The Italians started off as niggers because it was a classification. And all of them started in their own ghettos. We were the only people that were forced to embrace nigger. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand, in capitalism needs a permanent underclass to sustain itself. And we were chosen to be that permanent underclass. So when we became the niggers, they didn't allow us to come out of that shit. And when we started coming out of that shit, they had to start pushing us back into our place and keep this capitalism cracking. Okay, so the minute we thought that the white man's ice was colder is when we lost everything. The ghettos didn't really start happening until black people left the black side of town and started segregating themselves in with the white people, and then the black side of town became the ghetto. Before then, it was just the black side of town.
Right.
And we had all the shit that they had. But the white man made his shit look like it was so better. Again, illusion. Illusion in the place of the truth is dangerous. Okay? Because illusion can make you think anything is what it is. And it has nothing to do with it. It's a perception. Now understand something. Perception is everything, but rarely is it the truth. okay? And we fell for the perception and the illusion of inclusion. And when we stepped over there and jumped in their shit, we lost everything that we own. So I would say for that first 100 years after our forced, it was our forced imprisonment. Wasn't no slavery now, okay? Because the difference between a slave and a prisoner is the prisoner understands that he is a prisoner, and the slave just feel like this is what it is. So we wasn't slaves, okay? There were never any slaves that came from Africa. There were doctors, lawyers, children, all of that shit. They weren't slaves over there. They was kidnapped when they was over there. They didn't become slaves until they came here and was sold into slavery, which is the basis of capitalism. Okay, so again, back to the question: have we prospered? 1866 to 19. When was civil rights?
Well, it started in 1950 to be exact.
Right. When did the bill pass?
But the bill started passing in 65, 66.
So then 1867 to 1964, we was very prominent. We had our own colleges. We had everything we needed to survive and be who we were. But that ain't what we wanted. We wanted to show the white man we could be good niggas. And what was funny was when this is what they had for us, okay? So they had civil rights was the first knock, okay? Once we fell for the illusion of inclusion, the first thing they had for us to show our dedication and our allegiance to the country was the Vietnam War. They had that war ready for us. And what we did, we jumped in and we gonna show them that we good Americans and we finna go fight for our country. And what did that do? That started the single family household. Okay, so while we were out there fighting the Vietnam War, they pushed welfare in on the family. So the woman was being taken care of by the government. He became the man of the house. By the time the black man came home, strung out on drugs and fucked up from what he saw over there, she didn't need him no more. She didn't need him waking up in the middle of the night choking the shit out of her because he under this fucking trance about what the fuck he was going through over there. So what she do? Kick his ass on the street. You see most of the black men that's over 50, 60 years old on the street right now, I guarantee you over 60% of them are Vietnam veterans. I can guarantee you that. And then what was the second strike? After the Vietnam War came, what's the first thing they hit us with? Heroin. We brought that shit back. So that's the first drug addiction we started getting to. Okay, so they got the Vietnam, where they got civil rights, first knock, Vietnam War, heroin addiction, and then that was the late 60s, 70s. Then the 80s came around, and what came in the 80s? Crack. And we ain't never recovered from that. So it's been a setup. How can we say that we have prospered when 98% of our billionaires or millionaires are entertainers? You know what that tell you? They don't own shit. Somebody gave them that money. And if somebody can give you some shit, they can take it away. So to answer your question, have we prospered? First 100 years, yes. Second, negative. We've only digressed. Is that a word? We've only digressed from 65 to 2020. We don't own shit now. Our grandparents had land, they had money, they had all type of shit. They passed that shit down, and most of our grandparents grew their own food because they couldn't go to a grocery store. We thought that was bullshit. And when they gave us the land to carry on, we sold that shit to the white man. Banks came and took that shit. And we took that little money and ran to the city and got our little condos and thought we was fancy as shit and lost all that shit because we didn't understand nothing about banking. and credit and shit like that. They didn't want to teach us that shit. We had to learn that on the way. So we've been fucking up since from 1965. And like I say, that crack, we have yet to recover from that. And then they had the crack, and then we created something called hip hop that saved us and was acknowledging us. And when they saw how powerful that was, they changed the frequency of hip hop, and we went from knowledge of self to niggas for life. So now, by the time hip hop changed in 1991, 92, from the Black Power movement to this nigga for life syndrome, Joe Biden offered the violent crime bill right on time for 1994. So they took our music and went from a culture to a criminal element. And by the time 94 hit and we on this gangster shit, they had a bill that destroyed the black family. So you are now, you get caught with some work, instead of 2 or 3 years, you're doing 15. So you got all these children that was born in the 90s that never knew their daddy because their daddies was in prison or they was dead. By the time they 15, 20 years old, they done had 15, 20 years of a diet, a concentrated diet of gangster rap. And let me explain something to you. Gangster rap is a government agenda, not a music genre. Okay? That shit is the long arm of the government to fulfill the requirement of these private prisons to get them filled. So they changed the fluency of knowledge of self and changed that to niggas, from knowledge of self to niggas for life. And it was a corporate criminal enterprise. That's what this corporation has always been. And we have been the currency for capitalism. Again, capitalism needs a permanent underclass. And once we embrace being niggas and this real nigga shit, and I'm a nigga and I'm the realest nigga out, well, goddamn it, that's all the nigga is built for, is destruction. And that's all we've been doing to ourselves from 1965 to 2020. So that would be my answer to that, brother.
And there it is, folks, by none other than the great Rob Love, right here live on NBTV. Hey, Rob, you want to give the people a shout out, man? Anything you want to say about your
Always.
network?
gr2.org. Check out my brother is the truth. Okay, gr2.org. That's our network. That's our global network to reach out to all people that are searching for a home, that are searching for the science, that are searching for a light. gr2.org. That's GUERRILLA, Republic with a K.org. If you're looking for any type of apparel from Guerrilla Republic, it's houseofguerrillarepublic.store. Okay, my IG is Psalms 82 verse 6, or you can get at me at Guerrilla Republic 1794 on IG. Love is love, truth is truth.
And there it is, folks, right here live on NBTV. Stay tuned.